Hey, I'm Dennis from This Side of Anarchy, and welcome to Band to Band, my show where I and another band interview each other and alternately ask 5 questions over video chat, since many of us are from every corner of the world. My idea came about after using Twitter for about a year and a half and became friends with a bunch of independent bands of all kinds of different genres, and we support each other any way we can. And I found that I really wanted to get to know some of these bands better and thought this would be a good way to do that and let you in on it. So please hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast to keep up with updates and new episodes. Thank you and enjoy this episode. All right, welcome to episode 4 of my show Band to Band, where I get to know bands that I have got to be friends with or follow on Twitter. And this is a little special one because it's the first one with a full band. The first one I had a 2-man band, and the next 2, which was the Secret Weasels, and the next one was Creep Scene with 1-man band, and the next one was Pharmacide with 1-man band. And I'm a 1-man band. Now we have an actual 4-person band. Thank you. And thank you guys for doing this.
Thanks for having us.
I kind of have this theory that I've seen over my life and most people's lives, like my wife's and other, that like you have your music and you learn and you find new bands and stuff till you're about 30. Then you kind of like, I don't know, the new bands kind of seem to go out because, it seems like people over 30 like the same bands that they liked when they're like a teenager. And I was kind of in that groove, I guess, and you guys are actually one of the new bands that broke through that theory or whatever I had. So that's great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I appreciate all of your support, and I guess we will introduce yourselves, maybe where you're from, and if you were all born in New York, or what instruments you play, even in any other bands, some kind of equipment you like, just details like that. So maybe Liz will be first.
Sure. I'm Liz. I'm from Lindenhurst. I'm born and raised New York. I sing in Sharp Ballet, and I really like my purple Telefunken M80 microphone, and I don't play any other instruments.
All right, I guess Jasmine's back, so I guess maybe we'll do
Hi.
this.
Let me know if you can't hear me.
Yeah, you're fine.
What was the question? How many years did we ask?
Let's just introduce yourselves, where you're from, if you're born in New York, instruments you play, band general, you've been in other bands, any equipment you use, anything you want to say.
My brother was playing classical music before, so I want to mention that I started out my music career in elementary school. I played trumpet and I played through college. And then after college, I joined a band, started playing bass. I kind of learned in that band, and then eventually joined Sharp Violet. And I play drums now in Sharp Violet, and I play bass in another band. So I'm in 2 bands right now. So yeah, I love it. I love all the music all the time.
Yes, definitely. All right, Jessica's next, I guess.
Yeah, I'm from Bohemia, New York, born and raised in New York. And I started out with piano first when I was about 10. And then when I was 15, I started playing guitar. So those are my 2 main instruments, I would say. I play guitar in Sharp Violet, and I have helped my friend Emmy play. I played piano in that band.
I'm Allie. I play rhythm guitar in Sharp Violet. I also was born and raised in New York, and I play bass and guitar.
Cool. And the other band that's member's not here is Marie. Do you know anything about her? Maybe you can just, so people know there's another band member
Yeah.
who plays, or
So Marie first joined Sharp Ballet in 2019. She was in our band for about a month on rhythm guitar, and then she switched over to bass. And before Sharp Ballet, she was in a cover band, and she plays a Fender Jaguar bass.
Cool.
It's a really cool bass.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love it.
Kitty on it.
Yeah, definitely. So, how did the band start? How long you guys have been together? And how was it? I know for a long time you were a 4-piece, so how was it going from a 4-piece to a 5-piece?
So I started the band in early 2016. I put up an ad on Craigslist, and the day I put up the ad, I found a drummer, our first drummer. And then a few months later, I met Jess through our friends in Jackknife Stiletto. They're another all-female band from Long Island. And then through a former member of Steven and Not Steve's, I met Jasmine. And then over the years, we've had a couple of lineup changes. Allie joined on bass in late 2017. And then last year, like we said, Marie joined. And then her and Allie actually switched instruments. So we've been together for a little over 4 years. And I think the transition from a 4-piece to a 5-piece has been really awesome. We really wanted to help thicken the sound, and I think the sound now when we're playing live sounds a lot fuller.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
How does how do you guys work out the guitar parts? Do you just like whoever feels to play whatever, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's been whoever comes up with
Yeah.
a part. But I think for the most part, Jess is the lead and Allie is the rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been working out really well, I think.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, one of us will come up with a riff during practice and just kind of play it over and over again, and then, you know, we'll play off of each other and see what works. And, you know, you start something with one and you take it home and play with it a little bit, and then you bring it back and see what sounds good and go from there.
Cool. All right, that's my first question. Now, you guys can ask your first question.
Sure. How has your songwriting process changed over the years? And what is different about the creative process from, I know you were in a band back in the 90s versus now with a one-man band?
It's basically the same, except I'm doing all the parts. But you know, ever since I was 17, I was, you know, after I learned guitar, I started writing my own music and coming up with stuff and lyrics. And then 90% of the times it starts with the guitar riff, and then you know, I try to match the lyrics. But with the band, it was mainly I came up with the guitar riff, and then they would join in, and it would be like more of a collaborative thing. And now it's you got to do it yourself. It's just I imagine kind of a different part and try to create, and it's a little harder sometimes because you're recording it while you're writing it. So, and if you change something, you gotta like record the whole thing again and do the different parts, and then it's just. But you know, sometimes I'll even now start with the drum beat, but like a drum beat that I'll find, and then I'll just come up with a guitar riff that'll fit it, or a bass riff, and then kind of just go off of it. And then I just have a bunch of lyrics that kind of come up with, and just try to match up, see what sounds like it'll fit with it. And so, and the other thing that really changed was in the band, we would play and write a song to death, which I think could be good or it could be bad. Because like as you're writing it, you keep changing the way you sing it, the way you play it. now it's like I write it, and it's like, especially with the vocals, it's like I'll sing it like 5 times, and maybe sometimes 10, and it's just you know how sometimes your first try is like the best one. It's kind of the way I'm doing it now. It's like I'll do like, instead of sitting there for years, sometimes you're writing a song for years and years and years before you go to the studio and record it. Before, now it's just like whatever it comes out, and I sing it, and a lot of times I'll do it 5 to 10 times, and then pick the best take of each of those and just print it, as they say.
Cool.
All right. Let's see. What's my next one? So, do you guys mainly write at the studio, or do you guys record some of your stuff at home and kind of have a general thing and then bring it into the band, or is it basically you just come up with a riff, remember it, and then?
I think sometimes we'll come up with ideas at home, but for the most part, we do a lot of our writing at practice.
Just jamming?
Yeah. Sometimes, one of us will come up with an idea and then we'll share it. We have a group chat, so we'll share an idea there so that, everyone can kind of start working on something before practice. But I think for the most part, we pretty much do everything during our practices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jasmine's gone.
Uh-oh.
I was going to ask Jasmine a question. How involved are you guys? Are you even interested in the recording process or anything, or do you guys just write it and then go to the studio and let the recording people handle their part, and you're not really that interested? Just like in the final mix, maybe.
We do everything ourselves. We record in my basement. Steve from Steven and Not Steve's, he was a recording engineer in New York City. So he has full gear to record us. So everything we record, we do it at home, and we're 100% involved. So we do our parts, and then we work with Steve on the editing, picking out the best takes. So yeah, we're pretty much involved in the whole process.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think we lucked out because we get to do everything ourselves. Like if we had to pay for a service, we may not be able to get input on some of it. So I think it works out that way for us.
Yeah, I always found that to be an advantage. And Jasmine, I think a while back you downloaded some kind of software for your phone. How's that working out? Is it some?
Oh yeah, that was such a while ago.
Yeah.
That's funny you remember. It wasn't like GarageBand or anything like that. It was more like a synthesizer based, like kind of beat making. You could program some melodies in, kind of thing. And it was just keeping me busy. I think when we were on the way somewhere far away. I think it was we went to the Halloween show or something in Jason's Woods. So I'm kind of like a kid in the car. I need something to keep my attention. So that kept my attention for like a solid, at least 45 minutes.
So it wasn't
But
like
it's pretty cool. I haven't touched it in a while. It was called Caustic.
something like you record a guitar amp or anything from your phone, or it was just like more?
No, it was electronic stuff, I don't even think you could like plug in a synthesizer to it. It was all just like phone based. You can just program right on your phone. So, but if I had an iPhone, I would have GarageBand like built in. That's like the only feature I'm jealous about on an iPhone.
Yeah, I really like GarageBand because I don't play an instrument, but sometimes I'll get an idea in my head or a vocal melody, and I'm able to use GarageBand to try and put it to chords. Like that's how we wrote These Are the Rules Boys and Domino Effect. It was ideas that I had with a vocal melody, and then I worked it in GarageBand, and then I brought it to practice and we worked on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, GarageBand is great. That's the only reason that I even have an iPad was because of GarageBand. We're an Android house.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So, how do you use it, Allie?
I
Do you
will.
just
I
record
can.
bass parts or?
I'll record guitar parts, or like just sometimes something will come into my head. I'll have a riff or something, and I can plug right in the guitar, and I'll usually run it to my amp, but record some like little or other ideas, and then bring that to practice. Or if it's something that's not Sharp Violet related that I might want to just work on at home, I'll keep that. Like sometimes I'll get ideas that don't fit our style of music like at all.
Right.
So.
Right.
But just fun things to work on. But I love just having the control of, like, you could set a really basic drum beat behind it, like just something to flesh it out a little bit more, because sometimes if you're working on a guitar riff, it sounds just kind of thin and you can't really tell where you want it to go from there. But if you can add in some other musical components, even knowing that you're going to change it down the road, like it helps the creative process a little bit, especially now that we can't get together and have live practices.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. You do anything like that, Jessica?
Yeah, I do have a Mac laptop, but otherwise it's all Samsung. So GarageBand, sorry, is something to just get some ideas going, because you can use the keyboard as a keyboard.
Right.
But then there's this other program that my boyfriend showed me called Guitar Pro, which has like all the instruments, and you can write it out, chords, notes, whatever.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep, cool. All right, you guys up for the next question?
What music or bands have you been listening to lately?
I kind of the same thing almost with the 30s thing. I don't listen to much music actually. The other theory I kind of have is it might disrupt my creativity or originality. I kind of try to not get too much stuff in my head so it doesn't influence my style, I guess you would say. I don't know if it would or not, but I do listen in the car, and most of the stuff I listen to is stuff my wife likes. So she doesn't like this. I like 90% of what she does, and she likes maybe 30 or 40% of what I do. So, most of the time we listen to what she likes, which mainly starts with A, because when you go to your phone and you got to scroll through all your 1,000 music, you're like, man, you kind of find something. So I usually end up with Angel Witch or Armageddon or Aerosmith or Anthrax, Aqua or Overdrive or Blue Oyster Cult.
What about Skeleton Witch? What about that witch?
Skeleton Witch?
Mm-hmm.
And another one I found recently was a friend at work. I never knew they did this album. Was Rush did another live one called Different Stages. I never heard of that one. He was playing it, and I guess it was the bonus disc had a 1978 concert from Hammersmith in England. It was from a Farewell to Kings tour. So I'll be getting into that one. That was a good one. I guess the only one where they played 2112 complete live, on the thing. And then what else? I listened to Iron Maiden lately, and another one I'm going to be listening to because I for some reason I just and of course Motorhead. Always listen to Motorhead. And one of their bands that they toured with for a while was a band called Girl School. Have you guys heard of them? It was a metal band from the 80s.
I think I've
No.
heard of them. It sounds familiar.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought of them last week, and I'm like, all right, I need to get my records out so I can put it on MP3s and listen to it again. All right. So how did your relationship with Steve and the Not Steves develop? And I believe Liz is married to him, and it sounded like some of the stuff on Twitter or Instagram or whatever is some of you have relationships. And how did that start?
Yeah, so I am married to Steve. Allie's married to Jeff, who's the bassist in Steve and the Not Steves. I first met Steve through my best friend Eddie, who was their first drummer. So I kind of got to see Steve and the Not Steves like blossom into what they are today. When they first started out, it was just a two-piece that would play in Steve's apartment. Eddie would play on a electric drum kit. And actually, fun fact, the day that I met Steve was the day that him and Eddie came up with the name Steve and the Not Steves. And so like we met in 2014, and then 2015 we bought a house in Lindenhurst, and we built the studio in our basement. We have a full drum set, all our gear, the recording studio, and it was really after we built that we both I started Charbalet, and Steve looked for additional members of Steve and the Not Steves. So they've become like our brother band. We've become like a really close-knit family. We go on vacations together. We've been in each other's weddings. A really, really good group of people. We try and get each other on shows. Like if one of us gets booked on a show, we try to get the other one on. Both bands practice in our basement, and we share gear when we do play shows together.
Yeah, we kind of did a similar thing because in society, our drummer and his wife were in, her band was called Three Women in Black. And their bass player left, so Society's bass player went and played, and then their guitar player left, and then they asked me to play. So it was basically the bulk of Society Go Mad and with a girl singer. So so we did some shows together, and it was nice. You just set your amp up, play, my amp's there, play again.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits that we've had too, is that we've been able to fill in for each other. So we haven't had to turn down, any shows. Like when Allie and Jeff went out on maternity leave, Jasmine filled in on bass in Steve and Not Steve's, and Steve filled in with us. And Steve has filled in, I think, on every instrument now for us at some point. So we're
Except vocals.
Yeah, we're able to, except vocals. I don't think that'll ever happen, though.
He doesn't know the lyrics enough.
No,
You know his lyrics, though.
So
You know all of his lyrics, though, so he has to step up.
I could fill in for them.
Liz and the Not Lives.
Yeah, Liz and the Not Liz's.
And Allie, how's having a child changed your musical life? Anything, or is it
Well, I mean,
time, or?
there's a lot less spontaneity, I think, with anything. I mean, practicing, I can't decide late at night that I want to pick up a guitar and plug in.
Yeah.
I have to keep quiet. Definitely, my flexibility in terms of being able to say yes to every show is a little bit more limited. I do my best. That's actually, it's sort of part of the benefit of us being a 5-piece band now, because the band functions so well as a 4-piece. I don't have to feel like I'm, like screwing anybody over if there's a show that comes up that I really can't do, because I know that the 4 of them are still just going to rock it. I'm lucky enough that my mother, her grandmother is more than happy to babysit and spend time with her if something comes up. But you take each day as it goes. She's a toddler now. She's a ball of energy. She's running all around.
She's got a drummer.
Yeah, hey, she's playing drums.
Drumsticks, just goes. Very, very musically inclined. So
we'll see where that takes her.
That's good. All right, your next question.
Does your granddaughter share your taste in music, or does she have her own taste in music?
A little bit of both. At least when they were here, every time I would be recording or, working out a song or whatever, she'd be like, come through dancing, trying to dance around. And her dad kind of likes kind of metal music, and she gets into that. And of course, she likes the pop and the dancing around, and like she likes trying to do ballet and stuff. And of course, the movie music like Frozen, all that stuff. She gets into all those all those songs like that. But yeah,
Did you know that the Steves cover a song from Frozen? Maybe she needs to see some footage.
They do an awesome cover of Let It Go.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. How's the New York scene, and what's the farthest way you've played, and who books the shows, and is there any pay to play over there? And how is it playing with it seems like you play a lot of the same type bands or some of the same bands. How is it playing with them a lot? Does it get old, or does it get like seeing old friends all the time? Is it all fun?
That's a lot of questions all at once. But
Yeah.
I'll answer the pay to play. The pay to play question, that happens a lot, that we get offered them. We try to pay to play for like bigger bands, because sometimes they just do it, just because the venue calls for that. We try to just do like the cheaper ones, so we get more people to show up, because a lot of people don't want to commit to a ticket for a local band,
Right.
unless it's like a big headliner. But the scene out here, there's always something going on. Like you go 10 minutes down the road, not even, and there's a bar and 2 bands playing there. And then, restaurants have music. So it's like everywhere. We're pretty saturated out here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool. Definitely cool.
And then for booking shows, it really depends on whoever asks us to play a show. It's pretty random. Within like the past year or year and a half, we did start booking our own shows with Stephen and Not Steve's at this place called One Eye Jacks. We love it there. They're really awesome. They treat the bands really well. And we bring our own gear, and we do all the lights, we do all the sound, and we get to book all the bands that play. I like playing with a lot of the same bands because you get to hang out with your friends and listening to music that you actually like.
Right.
There's been a couple of shows where we've been, like the only punk band or the only like rock band, and like we've played shows with like metal bands or even like some rappers. So when there's shows like that, like it's cool to be like around other types of music, but it's kind of hard to get a fan base or a following that way.
Right.
Most of the time people like they'll stay for their friend's band, and then they leave because they don't really like your type of music. But when we're playing with our friends, everybody stays, and each band gets a packed house to play to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of times, we've been trying to just play shows with either our friends or with bands we don't know that are punk, that fall in line with rock music to some degree. Because a lot of times you'll just get random shows out here. But I think because so much is going on all the time, even non-music things, that people always have somewhere to be, so they don't hang out for the entire show. We try to establish that with the other bands to like keep everyone, come in early and leave late kind of thing, because it's not really fair to the whole lineup if you only show up for like 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
So we try to do that. And that being said, we've been trying to play more out of state when we have the time, because we want to reach other people. And we know that there are some places that don't have the scene that we have, and they would be grateful for like a full show. So
I think the furthest away that we've played, we got to play the University of Delaware through the Asbury Park Punk Rock Flea Market. That was such an awesome show. Like we got to play for the students there, and they set up green rooms for us. They had snacks and pizza and cake and everything that you could imagine. They had it set up for us. They printed out photos of us and hung them, in the hallway, and it was like probably, I think, my top 5 shows that we've ever played.
Mhm. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely cool.
I mean, we can carry our own gear. We're very capable, but it's nice to have a bunch of students just come up to you and be like, all right, we'll take all your heavy amps, and you guys took a long drive here. We'll take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They fed too. That was great. Yeah.
Hmm. No complaints.
Yeah, that was an awesome show.
All right, on to your next question.
If you could join any band, past or present, what band would you join?
That one was a hard question.
Mhm.
It was a real hard question.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just I just never had the even like something like Metallica. It's like I wouldn't even want to join Metallica because they're like a totally different music, or the Circle Jerks or Bad Religion, or it's just I don't know if I would want to. But all I could come up with was I'd go back and try to play with Mozart, Haydn, or Vivaldi because they just had the talent. I mean, it's just I love, because toward the end of society, I was like really get into classical music, and just the depth and there's so much going on and so many different parts, and it was just like some of the symphonies and concertos are just wild, and and some of them, especially Vivaldi's more raw, and it's like almost a punk version of classical. Just like it's basic, but still it's got some good tricks to it. But so, and then other than that, maybe Motorhead. That one might be my exception. I'd love to play with Lemmy, but never gonna happen now. He's gone. And if society ever got back together again, I'd definitely do that. Because that was a blast.
I was going to say, why wouldn't you pick Beethoven? He was kind of more of the metal of the classical musicians, the fathers.
Beethoven, I don't know. There's something about Beethoven that's not quite. He's not my top 3. He's probably the 4th. But some of his is just like his 3rd. Everybody seems to like the 3rd and the Eroica, and I just don't get it. I don't know. It just doesn't move me for some reason. But the 7th is awesome, and the 9th is awesome. The 1st and 2nd is awesome. Except that the 1st is actually the 2nd, and the 2nd is actually the 1st. Somehow they got the numbers wrong.
He was drunk. He was just drunk.
I don't know how they got that, but yeah, somehow they got the numbers wrong. All right, I went on the order. I forgot a question. All right, who does the social media? And seems like you find Instagram and Facebook a little more effective than Twitter, because it doesn't seem like you're on Twitter that much. So who am I really talking to, and how's your all's social media experience, I guess?
So I do the social media for Sharp Ballot. We all have access to Facebook, but for the most part, it's me who's posting every day. Yeah, we're not really active on Twitter, but it's just hard to be promoting and staying active across all platforms plus working full time. So I've kind of just focused on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, it's definitely hard, especially being the only guy. I'm like writing, recording, promoting. Sometimes it's like, well, I want to write, but I got to promote. And it's like you're writing all this stuff in it. Because after the first album, I didn't promote hardly anything. Then I'm like, well, why am I doing this? I got this album out and nobody's listening to it. So I'm like, well, I gotta promote. I started getting on Twitter and Instagram. It seemed like Twitter just got more response and, got it out there a little more and found more people sharing stuff, and it just seemed like it was a little better. So,
Twitter's different than the other ones, and I mean, I've been on Twitter since I could get an account on there, like when I first started. And it's, a lot of people go on there for like little bits of news. I think it's just more, I guess it's more like like discussion. Like I've had a lot of the same friends on there for years now, so I kind of talk to the same people. As far as expanding audiences, I wouldn't go to Twitter for that first, but you can find people on there because there are people who don't use Instagram and they're on Facebook, or they only have an Instagram, or they only have a Twitter. So I think it's important to be on all of them, but really the platform is Instagram, owned by Facebook. So,
right.
But we all post and promote from our band, which I think is important. I see a lot of people in other bands who don't do the same thing. We're always, all 5 of us are pretty active, and, we spread the word for everything going on with the band.
Yeah.
Through Instagram, we've gotten to meet so many cool people outside of the US, which I think is really awesome. And I think that's what I love most about social media is that, when you're in a band, you're not just confined to where you live, to your town. Like we have people in Australia, the UK, Italy, Mexico, who are now listening to our music. So that's pretty awesome. And then I like Facebook because it's good for, promoting and marketing in your community. So we're able to reach, to other local bands and people on Long Island so that we can get people to come to the shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I like, the worldwide. It seems like almost more people out of the US like, my kind of music more than the US. Get more fans in Ireland and England and Germany and Australia and Japan. So yeah, that's definitely awesome.
Yeah.
But we actually did that in society too, because we used to have to promote through fanzines, and there was fanzines all over the country, and there's this one. I still got the letter. We did a interview or something, and somebody put ads in their fanzine, and some guy sent us a letter, and I think I sent him an album back when we were still doing vinyl. Sent him an album to review in his fanzine, and he sends it back, and that's when the '92 thing was going on with Croatia, and he sent a letter. Oh yeah, we're listening to your album, and we're in our basement, and the bombs are going off. And you're like, what the? It was like crazy. We're like, what? This guy's sitting there in Croatia, and they're having a war. And they're sitting there in his basement listening to our album. Like, what the heck? It was like crazy. It's like, wow, how other countries really dig music like that.
It's just finding your audience, it could be anywhere. And there's people like that somewhere else that listen to what we listen to and do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, maybe it's not the it thing right now to be in a punk band, but it doesn't stop us.
Right. Yeah, definitely. All right. Yeah, next, your question.
What was the craziest show that you've ever played?
There was a few. Probably the craziest one for the audience reaction was we played one in Riverside with Offspring. It was kind of before they got big, or they were just getting big. I can't remember, but
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But they went wild with us. But then we were packing up, and they were next. And for some reason that night, I don't know why. Maybe the audience was different, but we were kind of surprised that the audience didn't really do what they did to Offspring when they did to our music. We're like, that's why it was like really different. It was like, wow, they're going wild. Like even almost half the people left after we said, I'm like, where'd everybody go? Offspring's still here. that was kind of crazy. That was really weird. And then there was a crazy one that we never played in East LA. We're setting up, and I don't know what happened, and just a couple of the bands started beating the shit out of each other, and the equipment started flying everywhere, and we're like, what the hell's going on? People getting bloodied and everything. We're like, all right, we grabbed our stuff, and we're get out of here, man. Get as fast as we can. We got our stuff out. That was another crazy one. And then another one was I played this place in Chinatown called Hong Kong Cafe, and I don't want to say the band's name. It was another one of those popular bands on Epitaph, but it was my wife's first punk show. I mean, we just started dating, and she's like, all right, we'll go to this punk show. And of course, the drummer, he was like high on cocaine or something, and he was just like, somebody touched his drums, and he started fighting with everybody because, oh, you touched my drums, and like a big ruckus. And
That's so punk rock.
pushing us over, and trying to protect my wife and everything. So that was another crazy one. I'm like, man. So those are the top 3.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what do you guys do that is not music related? Any hobbies or something that might be different?
I like to garden. I grow a vegetable garden every year.
That's good.
I try working out, just staying active that way.
I like cooking and baking, and I just started painting.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's real cool.
With me, it depends on the week, I guess. Sometimes I'll get into like I started doing a scrapbook the other day because my mom bought me this whole set, and then I got really tired of it quickly, and I was like, save it for an actual rainy day and then you'll do it, Jasmine. So I put it away. And then I started like listing some of my old clothes that I don't wear anymore. Like I have like a bunch to donate, and I still haven't donated it yet because they would probably burn it thinking it has the coronavirus. So I'm going to wait till this passes.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been like listing like nice clothes I have and band shirts I don't wear anymore. And just kind of doing that, just keep myself busy, really. But Allie, if you grow any like awesome vegetables and you want to, have like a little gardening party, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
I love all the veggies, so.
Yeah, we planted a garden too this year. We did some herbs, some veggies, and some fruits. So we can have a collaboration garden party.
Nice.
Share our harvest.
And keep in the garden.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm into gardening and cooking too. That's my things to do. I'm not musicking.
I feel like everybody is now because they're home, and it's like, where were you like months ago doing this? Like now you're a professional, sure. You have a blog, and you got a whole following.
Mhm.
It's funny. It's a funny time in that way.
Yeah.
I love cooking, but when I work in the city and I don't get home till like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night, and like the last thing I want to do is have to cook. But like since the lockdown, like I've had so much time to try like new recipes, and it's been really awesome. I'm having a really good time.
Yeah.
Liz can cook before all of this had happened, just to clarify. I was
Yes.
talking to those other people that just stuck with it.
There's other novice chefs.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I appreciate you guys doing this for me. And,
Thanks for having us. It was
Thank
fun
you.
chatting with you.
thanks for all the support.
Thank you.
And we'll hope to see you again soon sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thanks for having us. And
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll retweet each other on Twitter or something.
Yeah. Independence, gotta support independence.
Yep.
Keep each other out there.
Mhm.
Right.